Hey friends, so I'm a weight loss coach and a father of two with one more on the way, and I haven't tracked a calorie in over 5 years, and yet I've still been able to stay under 12% body fat the entire time. And so in this video, I'm gonna share with you the 7 rules that I live by pretty much every day that have made that possible. Starting with number 1. Now, number 1 is the 80-20 rule. I don't know if any of you out there have struggles with perfectionism, but I certainly do. And so the 80-20 rule is what really allows me to get over my perfectionism, to stay in consistent action. It takes me out of that all or nothing attitude and allows me to be okay with not being perfect. So the 80-20 rule basically means that 80% of the time, your goal is to be on plan with the habits and the things that you're doing that are going to get you the results. And 20% of the time, you're not going to be. Now, the realization here is that you can actually get elite level results being 80% on plan and being off plan 20% of the time, versus trying to strive for 100% and realizing there's no way that you're ever going to meet that standard. The nice thing about the 80-20 rule is that it just feels so much better from a mental and an emotional standpoint. When you're striving for 100%, there's a part of you that deep down knows that you're never going to hit that standard for yourself. But striving for 80%, you're like, yeah, you know what? I can do that. I can at least come close to that. And if I do mess up, well then now I at least have the leeway to learn from my mistakes. I can actually make mistakes and I can refine them along the way in the process. So the 80-20 rule is my number 1 rule because it really allows me to tackle all the other rules that I'm going to tell you about on this list without that perfectionistic attitude. So this rule is the rule that rules all of them. Don't be a perfectionist. Don't strive for 100%, which is a truly unattainable standard. Understand that if you can be on plan 80% of the time, you could go all the way. And the other percent of the time is where you learn. Let's move on to rule number 2. Rule number 2 is the decade rule. Now, what I mean by the decade rule is I actually heard this from one of my coaches and mentors in the past. His name is Alex Hormozy. He says, if you wouldn't do it for a decade, don't do it for a day. And what this rule helps me to do is to make sure that on a daily basis, the things that I'm pursuing with my food, with my exercise, with my strength training, with my lifestyle as a whole, that I'm pursuing sustainability in those things, that I'm not doing things to get a result that deep down that I know are not going to be sustainable in the end. Because there's this powerful realization, especially when it comes to things like weight loss, that anything we do to get the result is going to end up being something that we're going to have to do for the rest of our lives, because the moment that we stop doing the thing that got us the results is when the results start to slip away. We start to gain the weight back, and oftentimes we gain back even more weight than we lost in the first place. So the decade rule allows me to go through my life every single day thinking about the food I'm eating, thinking about the style and the types of workouts and exercise that I'm doing and where and when I'm doing that and what it looks like in my day-to-day life. And it allows me to stay focused on asking myself the question, is this something that I'm willing to do for the rest of my life? And is this how I want to do it for the rest of my life? And if the answer to that is no, then I'm going to change it. I'm going to modify it. I'm going to improve it. I'm going to do something different to tweak it to a place where it does feel sustainable. And that's the gold standard, is if I would be willing to do this for a decade or until I'm 60, 70, 80 years old, then I know I'm in the pocket. I'm in the sweet spot for sustainability, and I'm not going to have to worry about diet fatigue or burnout or different things like that getting in the way. So that's rule number 2, the decade rule. If you wouldn't do it for a decade, don't do it for a day. Let's move on to rule number 3. Rule number 3 is the daily weigh-in rule. And this is built off of the principle that if you don't track it, you can't control it. Now, I realize that daily weigh-ins might be triggering for some of you out there, but please understand, there's a reason why we really encourage that you weigh yourself every day if possible. And we've coached hundreds of clients in our program Healthy and Whole through this process. And a lot of them came into our program being uncomfortable with daily weigh-ins. And the reason most people are uncomfortable with daily weigh-ins is because, frankly, they've tried a lot of things in the past that didn't get good results. And so when you're doing something or you're following a strategy that's not getting you the results that you want, and you're trying to weigh yourself every day, then you're basically just getting smacked in the face every day with data that says you're failing. So I get that. I 100% get that, okay? But when you have the right strategy and you're pursuing a strategy that's going to lead to results in the long term, weighing yourself every day is actually incredibly important. It allows you to develop a relationship with the data where you learn to read the data, you learn to understand what the scale is telling you, and that can tell you when you need to make adjustments. It can tell you maybe that you're losing too fast and you need to eat some more food, or you need to dial your activity back a little bit. It can tell you if you're not losing consistently enough and you need to eat a little bit less or tweak your activity up. It can tell you and actually help you to understand how your body fluctuates. In fact, we teach all of our clients how to understand what we call this ebb and flow stair-stepping pattern that our bodies follow over the long term of a long-term sustainable weight loss journey. Because the reality is, when you jump on the scale, it's not going to just go down every day because you're doing all of the right things. In fact, the average person over and over and over again will experience what we call a stress-induced false plateau on the scale, which is basically just your body going through a period of hormonal water retention due to the stress of being in a prolonged calorie deficit. You'll be doing everything right. You'll be walking the steps and doing the workouts and eating the food, literally doing everything right. And your scale probably not only will it not go down for a short period of time, anywhere from 3 days to 14 days, but it could go up and hold, which is going to be very frustrating. And so by learning to understand that fluctuation pattern and understanding what's going on in your body when it's happening, you can actually start to develop a healthy relationship with the data and with the scale where you understand, oh, okay, this is no big deal. I just hit a new low. Now my scale's popped back up a little bit. It's holding. I know exactly what's going on right now. I'm gonna keep walking the steps. I'm gonna keep doing the workouts. I'm gonna keep eating healthy food. And if I can just be stubborn and outweight the scale, I'm eventually going to see my weight drop back down. The data is not your enemy. The scale is not your enemy. What we need to do is we need to find an approach that's going to work. We need to trust the data, and the data will guide you. Another reason weighing yourself every day is super important is because when you get to maintenance, the way that you're going to be able to maintain your weight for the long term, for the rest of your life, is by weighing yourself consistently. And an analogy that we give our clients is what we call the traffic light analogy. And that is that you would never pull out onto a busy road in your car and then just shut your eyes and hope for the best. And when you stop jumping on the scale, especially in maintenance, well then it's like you're pulling out onto the road and shutting your eyes. You're not able to see the traffic light signal. You're not able to see the signs that things might be going a little bit awry, that things might be drifting in the wrong direction. So when you actually get to your weight loss goal and you actually start practicing maintenance, that daily weight is what is going to allow you and allows me to know when I need to dial things back. Or it also can let you know when you can really crank things up and you can enjoy and indulge more and do things like that. So the daily weigh-in rule is really how I maintain control over my weight and over my body fat percentage 365 days a year, because I'm always tracking the data and I'm always responding to that data over time, adjusting my lifestyle so that I can stay right where I want to be, right in that sweet spot of 10 to 12% body fat. Let's move on to rule number 4. Rule number 4 is the 2-day rule. Now I heard this one from a YouTuber named Matt Diavella, and this is a great rule for helping you to stay on track with important habits that are going to lead to the results that you want down the road. This habit allows you to prevent yourself from just perpetually falling off and staying off of a habit. And so what the 2-day rule essentially says is that if you have a habit that is planned, whether it's to hit your food intake for the day, or to do a strength workout today, or to hit your step goal for today, or to hydrate today. The 2-day rule means that you will never miss that habit 2 days in a row. So let's say that today you had a strength workout planned, and for whatever reason, your day just blew up in your face. Work got crazy, the kids got sick, it doesn't matter what it is, but circumstances dictated that today was not going to be a great day for you to get that strength training workout in. Now, you could really just like put your foot down and say, no matter what, I'm gonna do it. But the 2-day rule gives us a nice balance of grace, but accountability. It gives you the option to say, you know what, today has been a crazy day. I'm not gonna do my planned workout today, but tomorrow, no matter what, come hell or high water, I'm gonna get that workout in. Even if it means I have to do my strength training workout at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get it done. And I love this rule because it gives us that nice combination of grace and accountability. It gives me the grace and flexibility I might need today to not overly stress out over something if other things are stressing me out or things are blowing up in my face. But it also gives me the accountability tomorrow to say, you know what, I've just got to figure it out. And the other thing I like about this is that the 2-day rule, if used properly, can actually force you to get your life together in a lot of fun ways. So if you find yourself oftentimes making excuses about doing workouts or making excuses about hitting your step goals or this or that, and you're missing these standards a lot, if you really adhere to the 2-day rule, it's going to force you to hold standards at uncomfortable or very inconvenient times. And you'll probably only want to do a workout at like 11 p.m. at night a few times before you decide, okay, I'm going to figure out how to structure my day in a better way or to hold better boundaries so that I'm not having to work out at 11 p.m. every single night to do this. So the 2-day rule is great. It gives you grace, it gives you accountability, and it forces you to get your life together in other ways. And ultimately, the 2-day rule will keep you on track and it will help you to build a more sustainable lifestyle in the process. So let's move on to rule number 5. Rule number 5 is the 15-minute rule. And the 15-minute rule essentially states that any habit that I am looking to follow to get the results that I want from a sustainable weight loss perspective needs to have at least some fallback option that takes 15 minutes or less in order for me to be successful. So when you look at the majority of the meals that I eat on a daily basis, almost all of them can be prepped to completion to where they're ready to eat in 15 minutes or less. When it comes to workouts, sure, I love to, and it's more ideal to work out for 30 minutes to 45 minutes to get the proper intensity and volume that I might need to get the best results. But I also have workouts that I call no excuses workouts that take 15 minutes or less, and they require zero equipment so that I could do them literally anywhere, even with only 15 minutes of time. And then also for hitting my step goal, I like to take longer walks of 45 minutes or to run for 45 minutes to an hour every day. It gets me a lot of steps and I feel great when I do it. I get to get outside and walk in nature, but some days I don't have that luxury. And so it's helpful for me some days to be able to break that goal up into smaller, more bite-sized chunks, walking 10 minutes here, 10 to 15 minutes there. And I've found a lot of days that are really busy. If I can get a 10 to 15 minute walk at the start of my day, a 10 to 15 minute walk around lunchtime, a 10 to 15 minute walk around dinner time, that combined with the other incidental steps that I'm gonna get throughout the day is going to get me close to the step goal that I like to hit every day. So the 15-minute rule basically is just your way of saying, okay, I'm gonna be ultra prepared with meal ideas and snack ideas and workout options and all these different things that can be executed in very short amount of time, so that even in your busiest seasons of life, when everything is crazy, you're running the kids everywhere, work is crazy, you have deadlines, all this stuff, you don't have to fall off track during those seasons of life just because you have less time or less energy. The 15-minute rule is all about building convenience and efficiency into your lifestyle so that it can withstand those busy, crazy, chaotic seasons of life. Now let's move on to rule number 6. Rule number 6 is the 40% rule. Now the 40% rule pertains to protein content of the food that I eat. So my goal is that all of the food that I eat on a daily basis ideally should have around 40% protein or higher when you add it all together. Now again, I don't track calories and macros on a daily basis, but I do generally make sure that any product that I buy or any new recipe or meal idea that I come up with, I will throw it into MyFitnessPal and I will put all the ingredients in, or I'll scan the barcode on the protein bar or the protein chips or whatever it is that I'm eating. And I will tweak it, or I will just verify that it is close to 40% protein or higher. That way I know that virtually any meal or any snack that I'm eating is going to come close to hitting that goal. And this makes sure that I get enough protein in my day every day to maintain and to build muscle mass. It makes sure that I'm feeling really full and satiated, and it just prevents muscle loss. It prevents other things that are going to happen as a result of not getting enough protein into my diet every day. So that's my standard, 40%. If it's under 40%, a meal idea that I might come up with, I'm gonna keep tweaking it until I hit that 40%, and then I'm good. Rule number 7 is the nothing else matters rule. Now, the nothing else matters rule is not a rule about Metallica. The nothing else matters rule is essentially stating that outside of hitting a proper calorie intake and a proper protein intake on a daily basis and matching that to good calorie output, there's really nothing else that matters when it comes to reaching a goal with regard to weight loss or weight maintenance or weight gain. It really is that simple. Now, sure, there are a lot of things in the world that we could think about or optimize that I would call bonus things to focus on when it comes to weight loss or weight maintenance or weight gain. But at the end of the day, as someone who has coached hundreds of clients to losing weight throughout the years, I have found that obsessing over a lot of these details like meal timing and intermittent fasting and should I eat my protein before my workout or after my workout? Or should I stop eating after 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. at night? It doesn't matter. All of these details, sure, they can help here or there. But at the end of the day, what really matters and what is actually going to drive your weight loss, your weight maintenance, or your weight gain results is going to be, are you eating the right amount of calories? Are you getting enough protein? And are you moving enough? And that's it. You balance those 3 things out, and I guarantee you, you'll get the results that you're looking for. And we see this every day in the clientele that we coach at Healthy and Whole, because no client that comes into our program has the same lifestyle, right? They're all pursuing step goals. They're all learning how to strength train and becoming comfortable with strength training. And they're all learning how to build a menu of foods and meals and snacks that meet their daily needs. And so they're able to balance it all out to lose weight without counting calories and macros. But we have some people who eat all whole foods. We have some people who eat out a lot at restaurants and they eat a lot of processed foods and convenience foods because they're always on the go, and everywhere in between. And you know what's funny? They all get the same results in the end because we're not obsessing over all the little internet guru details that cause people to become obsessive, that cause people to be riddled with food noise and chatter in their brain, and we're just simplifying it to only what matters. Calorie intake, calorie output, and are you getting enough protein? Nothing else matters. All right, so those are my 7 rules that have allowed me to stay lean 365 days a year. If this has been helpful for you, make sure you hit subscribe and hit the like button here on the channel. And if you want more free advice or more free tips and shares and recipes and things like that, be sure to subscribe to my free weekly newsletter, The Practical Health Journal. I send out emails twice a week, once on Tuesday and once on Friday, full of recipes, product shares, and other articles and things like that, just like what I've shared in this video. And that's it for this time. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.